Princess Crescent, the most beloved little princess of the ancient kingdom. She is gentle and elegant, sincere and kind. Almost everyone who has seen Princess Crescent is captivated by her beauty. But only I know that Princess Crescent is heartless and cruel, extravagant and debauched. Her mansion is packed with countless male concubines for her amusement. So many servants, because of Princess Crescent, due to her momentary displeasure, have lost their lives. As for me, as Princess Crescent's head maid, kneeling on the ground and barking like a dog is a common occurrence. As the head maid who has served Princess Crescent for 10 years and is still alive, my survival is not because of any outstanding ability, but because of the fall. Tomorrow, invite the state preceptor to come and swap bodies with me and you. I heard there's a banquet at the 100 Flowers Pavilion tomorrow, and many handsome men will attend. I'm going too. I answered meekly. It was when the princess was 14, she publicly killed a pregnant woman on the street, causing public outrage throughout the city. The state preceptor suggested bringing in an orphan girl from outside to discipline strictly, and swap bodies with the princess when necessary. And I am that orphan girl. The princess known for her grace and kindness to the public is me. The princess who cares for the people is me. As for the princess, the extravagant and debauched head maid in the mansion, not only fails to understand the princess's good intentions, but also teaches her, as a woman, to toy with male concubines. Despite being admonished by the princess repeatedly, she refuses to listen and oppresses the common people. If not for the princess's kindness and reluctance to drive her away, she would have long been wandering the streets, beaten to death by clubs. Crescent suddenly turned cold, grabbed my hair bun, and said in a sinister, mocking tone, "What are you thinking? You're just a lowly slave. Don't think your special status allows you to interfere with my decisions. Princess, the rear courtyard is already full. The emperor warned me to advise you." My scalp was pulled so hard it hurt, and tears fell from my eyes. Crescent suddenly flashed a terrifying smile. She let go of me triumphantly, and leaned close to my ear like a venomous snake. "Don't worry, I won't harm you. This body of yours is peerless in its beauty. In all the world, there's no shell as beautiful as yours. This shell will definitely be mine, Crescent's." I stumbled and fell to my knees with a thud. Head bowed low, hiding the smirk on my lips. Whatever, I've always known he likes this face of mine. Lately, he's been swapping bodies with me more often. Swap away, swap away. Sooner or later, I will completely take over Xinyue's body. I will become the real Princess Xinyue. The next day, Xinyue and I swapped bodies. I made a grand appearance at the palace banquet. Among all the emperor's princesses, 2 were the most favored. One was the 5th princess, the empress's daughter. The other was Princess Xinyue. Princess Xinyue was extravagant and debauched, ignorant and uneducated. But the 5th princess was different. She was equally ruthless and cunning, but far more intelligent than Princess Xinyue. In the past, whenever I encountered the 5th princess, I would deliberately avoid her, afraid she might discover that Xinyue and I were swapping bodies. But today, before I could even try to avoid her, she grabbed my sleeve. "Where are you off to, sister?" I pulled my sleeve back. "Elder sister. By title. I actually outrank you. Where I go is hardly something I need to report to you." The princess smiled. She reached out and lifted my chin. Leaning close to my ear, she whispered softly, "I, the princess, naturally have no say over Xinyue's wishes. But as for you, this little servant girl, for me to control you is as easy as pie." "How did you know?" "Ha! Look. In this palace, is there anything I, the princess, don't know?" I wasn't afraid. Instead, I remained perfectly calm. I replied in a low voice. "Does the 5th princess not yet know that her beloved has been tied to a bed in the 100 Flowers Pavilion by Princess Xinyue at this very moment?" The 5th princess's face changed. She was different from Princess Xinyue. She had been in love with a scholar for years. Afraid the emperor would find out, she had hidden this scholar extremely well. Touching this scholar was like touching her heart. The 5th princess immediately turned pale and rushed out of the palace. Her maid, Bai Ziqiao, holding a jug of wine, looked anxiously after the 5th princess. "Your Highness, should I still deliver this wine?" I smiled sweetly. "Elder sister, this wine is for Father Emperor, isn't it? Why not let me, the consort, deliver it for you?" I made a move to take the wine jug. Xiao didn't dare to be the slightest bit careless, taking half a step back. My hand circled the spout of the jug. My smile vanished abruptly. "Quite vigilant, aren't you?" I turned and left with a flick of my sleeve. The moment I turned, I clearly sensed the maid behind me suddenly let out a sigh of relief. My cold expression vanished instantly, and smiled slyly. I touched the powder in my hand. I was about to head back to my palace, change my clothes. and go outside the palace to see how these sisters were making a disgraceful scene out there. Then I saw the crown prince in the distance, looking at me with a gloomy expression. My heart skipped a beat. Why is he looking at me? Did he see the poison I just gave the emperor? It's strange. These foolish princesses are usually easily manipulated by me. But I'm especially nervous when I see their brother. I kept my composure and bowed to him. He gave a nonchalant, Who knows what's going on inside that handsome face? The arrogant crown prince, expressionless, uttered these 2 words and glanced at me, before turning and leaving. He probably didn't see it. But the crown prince is so unpredictable. I avoid him like the plague. My plan to leave the palace was also postponed. Looking at his departing figure, a wicked idea formed in my mind. I smirked. Being timid isn't my style. Facing challenges head-on is my way. Even the crown prince will fall under my spell. Time to play the game. I first circled around the banquet, then returned to the princess's chambers. I changed my clothes. Looking at myself in the mirror, I lightly drew a few strokes on Princess Crescent Moon's face. My original stunning beauty instantly replaced Crescent Moon's rather ordinary face. I smirked. The emperor was furious because the 5th princess was absent from the banquet entrance today. The 5th princess's maid, Chower, was harshly reprimanded in front of the hall. After Chower was beaten several times, I quietly took a pill and approached. Chower, I have some ointment here. It's said to be excellent for skin recovery. I pretended to cry out in pain. Once the executioners left, Chower immediately rushed over and slapped my face. It's all because of your wretched mistress. If it weren't for Princess Crescent Moon, the 5th princess wouldn't have run out of the palace. I knew Chower would blame me. I should have dodged. But to others, I seemed stunned and frozen in place. I didn't move. If Princess Xinyue knew her face had been scratched by a maid, just the thought of it almost made me laugh out loud. But out of the corner of my eye, I saw a figure in black standing in the distance, staring at me with an intense gaze. My heart skipped a beat. The second slap, originally aimed at my face, after I dodged it slightly, grabbed onto my clothes. A vibrant red spider lily on my left shoulder unexpectedly fell into someone's sight. I could clearly feel that gaze instantly turn scorching hot, restrained and astonished. In a panic, I pulled my clothes back up and ran back, wiping my tears. On the way out of the palace, there was a garden. It was rarely visited. I bumped headfirst into a firm chest, but I deliberately feigned panic and a surprised expression. Your Highness the Crown Prince, your servant deserves death. Please, I beg you to spare me. I looked up. In the Crown Prince's eyes were scrutiny and amusement. And bloodlust. You're one of Xinyue's people? I stammered in reply, yes. The Crown Prince lifted my chin, asking for my name, while peering through the thin gauze on my left shoulder, to look at that unique Bianhua flower on my shoulder. I then gave him my name. And I clearly saw the thick shock brewing in his eyes and joy being suppressed. Yun Luo, in a few days, when I see Xinyue, I'll have you invited to my palace. Are you willing? I blinked. My expression was both delighted and excited. Every servant in this palace knows what the Crown Prince's words mean. I quickly bowed. Thank you for your favor, Your Highness. Invite me to the Crown Prince's palace? I lowered my gaze. Princess Xinyue might not be willing. Having made enough of an impression on the Crown Prince, I hurriedly left the palace. Unfortunately, the 5th princess and Princess Xinyue had already finished fighting. By the time I arrived, I saw Princess Xinyue wearing my beautiful face, laughing hysterically with her hands on her hips. Haha. 5th sister, in front of father, you're a head shorter than this princess. Even in a fight, you're no match for me. Looking closer at my beautiful face, it was completely unharmed. Only her hair was a bit disheveled. The 5th princess had a bird's nest of hair and scratches all over her face. She looked utterly pathetic. The guards on both sides looked pale as ghosts, not daring to step forward. They probably knew that, having failed to protect the princess, their end was near. I blended into the crowd, hiding my face from view. I raised an eyebrow. Since when could that idiot Xinyuan beat the 5th princess? The 5th princess was furious and charged forward viciously. She was about to fight back, but a squad of imperial guards, having somehow received the news, rushed over and pulled the two apart. The crowd was forced to disperse. From within the crowd, I looked at the scholar, flushed with shame and anger, and tugged at his sleeve. Sorry, I didn't mean that just now. In the main hall, the emperor was enraged. Suppressing his emotions, he said to his 2 most beloved princesses, "Get out and clean yourselves up." I lowered my head timidly and followed behind Princess Xinyue. As soon as we reached her chambers, before I could speak, Princess Xinyu swept her sleeve and knocked everything off the table. I had already secretly removed most of the makeup, but some traces remained. Still, it was clearly Princess Xinyu's face. At that moment, she said menacingly, switch our bodies back first. After I see father, I'll settle the score with you. Settle the score? What score? She's just angry and embarrassed that she got caught sneaking out today. I remained calm, even letting out a faint smile. The pill I took earlier was one that delays pain. The maid looked at that face. I saw it clearly while applying makeup. The blood vessels on her face were practically pulled out. Princess Xinyu gave me a pill. We swallowed them simultaneously, and when we opened our eyes again, we were back in our own bodies. In the main hall, the emperor's wine cup was hurled at the fifth princess. A princess of your stature, brawling in public and tearing at each other. And you, Xinyu, and that maid, after swapping bodies. You dared to expose yourselves on the streets. I've truly spoiled you. The fifth princess trembled in fear. But Princess Xinyu retorted defiantly, her voice choked, Father, that's not right. What happened today is Yunluo's fault for failing his duty. If he hadn't failed to stop the fifth princess, this would never have been discovered. And also, you sent the imperial guards to drag me back to the palace. I've been utterly humiliated. Furious, the emperor stood up, staggered down the steps, walked up to Princess Xinyu, and slapped her across the face. As luck would have it, it was the same cheek that had just been hit. The pill I just took started working. Princess Crescent Moon screamed in pain. The new injury combined with the old one, causing intense pain. It actually knocked her unconscious from the pain. The emperor was shocked. He thought his slap had knocked Princess Crescent Moon unconscious. Panicked and unsure, he caught the unconscious princess and carried her to her chambers. Call the royal physician. Fifth princess was also startled. She watched the emperor with mixed glee and jealousy carrying Princess Crescent Moon away. She gritted her teeth and followed anyway. After everyone rushed out of this vast throne hall, I couldn't hold back and burst out laughing. She's reaping what she sowed. But unexpectedly, fifth princess suddenly returned. Her eyes locked onto me like a wolf spotting prey. Yes, the scratches on fifth princess's face looked somewhat terrifying. She leaned close to my ear and whispered, don't be afraid. I know, all of today's events were orchestrated by you. A clever move using others to eliminate your enemy. That idiot Crescent Moon doesn't understand your prowess. But I do. My eyelashes trembled violently, as if afraid. Yet fifth princess continued whispering by my ear, with a determined smile. Your body. I want it. I panicked, pretending ignorance, my legs weakened slightly, and I slumped onto the ground. Your servant. Your servant doesn't know what the princess is saying. Fifth princess was about to speak. Outside the hall, a figure in black robes with python embroidery suddenly appeared. Little Wu, what are you doing? I breathed heavily. I knew. It must be because Qiao just told fifth princess everything that happened after she left today. Fifth princess is not like that idiot Crescent Moon. Fifth princess reluctantly stood and bowed. Brother, she said reluctantly and left. Before leaving, she glanced back at me. The crown prince walked up to me. My heart raced violently. At that moment, he seemed like a deity looming above. He bent down and picked me up. I grabbed his collar and buried my face in his chest. This was the first time I'd been carried by a man. A man's embrace was surprisingly warm. I strangely frowned. How could I have such thoughts? But taking advantage, I clung to the crown prince's body. You mean the state priest brought you from outside to serve as Princess Crescent Moon's substitute? On the bed, the crown prince held me. His sharp eyebrows were tightly furrowed. I nodded timidly. The crown prince held me in his arms, unconsciously tightening his hold. His tone was heavy. Don't worry, I will definitely give you an answer. I relaxed completely. The crown prince's palm, but caressed the other shore on my shoulder. How did you get this? My eyelashes fluttered. My memories were instantly pulled back. That night, there was a violent storm. My father went out to tell fortunes for people and didn't return for a long time. My mother, with disheveled clothes, pulled me and tattooed this other shore on my shoulder. Luoer, you go. Don't come back. The bandits will return. I'll leave a letter for your father, so he can come find you. If he doesn't recognize you, the other shore on your shoulder will be the mark. I cried my heart out. No, overnight, my family fell apart. I was pushed out of the house, crying. From then on, I swore, I must kill the enemy with my own hands. I must make him experience the fate of losing his wife and children. I bit my lip and replied to the crown prince. My mother gave it to me. The crown prince, shocked and heartbroken, kissed me. How could a mother be so cruel? My eyes darkened. She wanted me not to forget the enemy. The crown prince asked me firmly, what enemy? As long as I say it, he will definitely help me take revenge. I wrapped my arms around the crown prince's neck and kissed him. Your Highness, you're so kind. If one day, Yunluo needs revenge, I will definitely seek your help. The crown prince was pinned under me. His hands groped aimlessly. He still managed to promise. I will do my duty without hesitation. After Princess Crescent Moon woke up, no matter how great the emperor's anger was, facing the little princess he had knocked out, he lost his anger. He lovingly fed his little princess medicine. Be careful, it's hot, Princess Crescent Moon said with a tearful, spoiled tone. Father, do you know, you scared me to death. The emperor repeatedly apologized. Crescent Moon knew that her fainting wasn't simple, but she took advantage of the emperor's guilt towards her, and didn't say much. Instead, she poured out her grievances. Wah wah. My sister is fooling around with a scholar outside. I really can't stand it. I'm afraid she'll be deceived by that scholar. That's why I intervened. Who knew I'd be misunderstood like that by others? Xin Yue complained while glancing at the crown prince standing over there. I listened meekly beside them. Princess Xin Yue's lie was truly clumsy, but as long as the emperor was willing to believe it, then it was the fifth princess's fault. The fifth princess had knelt outside all night. How could the emperor not know? He just didn't want to know. At that moment, the fifth princess was kicked hard by the emperor. Useless thing. For a scholar, you fought with Xin Yue out in the open. What surprised me was that the fifth princess, upon hearing the emperor's words, showed no anger or defense. Instead, she apologized meekly. Only then did the emperor breathe a sigh of relief. I sighed slightly. Everyone knows that the emperor dotes on the two young princesses. Who would have thought it was this kind of doting? Moreover, judging by the fifth princess's attitude, she seems quite accustomed to her situation. I understood, but he said, he is determined to get me. I secretly smiled. I'm really curious, what kind of determination is that? After everyone left, I reported to Princess Xinyue about what happened before the banquet. Princess Xinyu was eerily calm. Yunluo, what should this princess do? I was surprised that Princess Xinyu actually asked for my opinion. Princess Xinyue spoke up. This princess fought with the fifth princess in the street, not just because of that man. He asked me for you yesterday, saying, you are quite clever. Yunluo, over the years, you have done an excellent job as my double. This princess has treated you poorly over the years. I almost gasped out loud. This fool actually said such things. It seems she really feels threatened. How about this princess snatches the scholar he has his eye on? No, no. Princess Xinyue talked to herself, and quickly shook her head. I pursed my lips. This servant has a plan. In a few days, the Mongol prince will come to our country to pay tribute. It's called paying tribute, but in reality, our country's power has declined in recent years. Mongolia has been hinting at attacking our country. Surely the emperor will use methods to suppress them, for example, such as marriage alliance. Princess Xinyue's eyes lit up. She repeatedly praised me as her good maid. By the way, princess, I heard the emperor's health is not well. You can give him some fish mint gathered daily, boiled in soup to drink. It prolongs life. Princess Xinyue believed my words without doubt. She kept agreeing. I gracefully bowed and withdrew. Perhaps that beast of a crown prince used too much force. My waist hurts terribly today. To snatch that scholar Princess Xinyue's mind. Can only conceive of such foolish schemes. I know why she won't choose this method. Princess Xinyue has a beloved she can never obtain. She fears he would find her sullied. This fool. So she repeatedly uses my body to venture out for romantic rendezvous, while she keeps herself pure. Speaking of which, Princess Xinyue cannot use this method, but I can. The conflict between Princess Xinyue and the fifth princess needs me to stir the pot further. I changed my dress and left the princess's residence. The scholar held a book in his destitute courtyard, pacing back and forth. Clearly, he had been waiting for a while. With a beaming smile, I covered his eyes from behind. Princess, he stammered, his hand faltering. The book dropped to the ground. He hastily picked it up. What are you doing? I smiled radiantly. Have you forgotten me in just a few days, little scholar? My dress today is thin, revealing ample charms. How could the scholar withstand such teasing? He removed my hand and nervously shifted his gaze to the book. Reading. I'm reading. Don't do this. I snatched his book away. Giggling, I dodged his reaching hand. The book is upside down. Who believes you're reading? The scholar flushed crimson. He wanted to look up and refute me, but upon seeing my attire, he quickly lowered his head. Muttering, he said, you, come with me. I didn't understand what he intended. I followed him, bewildered. On the street, he walked ahead. His ears were flushed red all the way until he stopped at the capital's finest tailor shop. I watched him take out the scant but all his silver from his purse. I burst into a laugh. My delicate body collapsed against the scholar. I unabashedly wrapped my arms around his neck. My breath was fragrant. So this is what you meant? The scholar stiffened completely. He dared not move. You, let go of me. I was about to coyly refuse. But my smile froze on my lips. At the tailor shop entrance, the crown prince held a pink-white gown, and was staring intently at me. His face showed no expression. In those dark, deep eyes, I could discern no emotion. But I knew. Within his heart was brewing a storm of destruction. My heart trembled violently. Oh, crap, I instinctively wanted to pull my hand back. But the last shred of reason in my mind told me, no. If I let go and run now, it would confirm that I am Yun Luo herself. My flirtatious laughter continued, unchanged, until the crown prince stood before me. And that hand, which seemed capable of snapping my wrist, clamped onto the wrist of the scholar I was holding. What are you doing? Only then did I let go. I exclaimed in surprise, brother, how are you here? The scholar looked at the person before him in shock, and hurriedly tried to kneel and bow. Afraid of attracting the attention of the surrounding commoners, I quickly stopped him. The crown prince's gloomy gaze never left me. This time, he didn't reach out to grab my hand, but instead said sternly, let him go. My heart trembled with deep fear, and I instinctively released the scholar's arm. After the scholar bowed, the crown prince left without a word. I didn't know if he truly believed I was Princess Crescent Moon or not. I clutched my chest, heart pounding, unable to react for a long time, until the scholar tugged my sleeve. Princess. Princess. Huh. Oh. I abruptly turned around. The scholar insisted on taking me to buy clothes, and I was forced to go in. He said to the shopkeeper, get the clothes made from the best fabric you have. Ah, unfortunately. Our best treasure, the store's pride, was just taken by that gentleman. Perhaps you, sir. I didn't hear clearly what was said afterward, only catching, the crown prince just took that store treasure. That piece, predominantly white, with pink accents, elegant yet simple, resembled a snow lotus from distant mountains. That dress might have been for me, since I always appeared as a delicate, innocent flower before him. The crown prince avoids women if I hadn't known beforehand. But he didn't expect that, just after taking the dress out, he would see me in a red dress, leaning on another man, laughing flirtatiously. Thinking of this, soon, the day arrived I couldn't for help but shudder again. Audience. Princess Crescent Moon showed rare wisdom this day. She didn't apply makeup, and even deliberately made herself look somewhat ugly. The fifth princess didn't know the inside story of this state banquet and lacked a father who favored her. To avoid being disrespectful, she wore her most beautiful dress and applied the most exquisite makeup. Little Emperor nodded approvingly. The fifth princess happily took the seat. This was Princess Crescent Moon's special seat. In the past, this was Princess Crescent Moon's special seat. Her previously sullen brow finally relaxed. But when the Mongolian prince confidently stated his intention to marry one of our princesses, and his gaze fell upon Princess Wu, the smile on her face vanished. Princess Wu stood up coldly. I refuse to marry. My little Wu still clings to me. Like she hasn't grown up yet. The emperor smiled faintly without speaking. He neither agreed nor refused. But everyone knew given Mongolia's power, the emperor had to consent even if he didn't want to. Princess Xin Yu, who always courted disaster, was silent throughout today. After the banquet ended, Princess Wu stormed over angrily. Xin Yu, you stole him, he didn't say anything. And now you want to send me to Mongolia for marriage. Regarding the scholar, the news of his closeness with Princess Xin Yu, as expected, reached Princess Wu's ears. Unfortunately, Xin Yue knew nothing about it. At that moment, she couldn't even address the oddness in Princess Wu's words. Instead, she cautiously retreated a step. Wu Jie, what are you doing? I know nothing. Don't wrong me. I sensed something was off, following Princess Xin Yu's sidelong glance. The crown prince stood in the shadows. No one could see his expression, but a strange intuition told me he was looking at me at that moment. He spoke, Yun Luo, come here. I instinctively looked at the princess. Her eyes glared at me fiercely. In an instant, she wanted to tear me apart. I shuddered. Without going over, the crown prince spoke again. I don't like repeating myself. Before I could speak, Princess Xin Yu shoved me hard. Go, my brother is calling you. You go stand before the crown prince. My teeth chattered. I kept my head bowed. The gaze above me coldly stared at me. The gaze behind me also wished to bore a hole through me. After a long while, the crown prince moved. He walked out of the hall. After following the crown prince back to his quarters, I had always thought I would face a storm of fury. But unexpectedly, the crown prince from his quarters slowly and deliberately took out that garment he bought last time. He personally, piece by piece, removed my clothes. I shivered from the cold, but dared not struggle at all. Why haven't I seen you lately? Are you deliberately avoiding me? I shook my head in panic. After that day, I didn't know if he had discovered anything. Presumably after discovering, he would never want to see me again. Thus, I dared not act rashly. I knew this garment would look good on you. I smiled, but it was forced. The next moment, the crown prince brutally tore my dress. That night, he was utterly cruel. I cried until my voice was hoarse. I wiped my tears countless times. Finally, he let go of me. In the darkness, he whispered darkly by my ear. You look stunning in red. My whole body froze. The words I was about to curse him with got stuck in my throat. Shocked, I shuddered. His eyesight was better than mine. In the dark, I felt a pair of eyes locking onto mine. For the first and last time, I was terrified. A guard who once betrayed him was dismembered and fed to dogs. Why did he know of my betrayal, yet forgive me so easily? The next day, the crown prince prepared a pair of red tassels. He told me to take them and gift them to Princess Crescent Moon. I stood there dumbly. He already knew Crescent Moon's feelings for him. That explains why that day, he immediately recognized I wasn't Princess Crescent Moon. Princess Crescent Moon never showed any hint of willfulness in front of him. I entered the princess's residence holding the red tassels. I sighed. These red tassels were enough to fool Princess Crescent Moon and spare me punishment. Suddenly, a quarrel inside caught my attention. You dare try to steal someone from me? The fifth princess sneered. Father has agreed. If I agree to the marriage alliance, he'll grant Yun Luo to me. Once we're in Mongolia, Yun Luo and I will swap bodies. And I'll be free and carefree. I stood at the door, smirking slightly. What a clever scheme. In this palace, everyone devours without leaving a trace. The fifth princess returned unscathed. Under my plan, her scholar had already lost contact with her. She'll be queen in Mongolia, which is better than staying here as an unfavored princess. That's her only choice. I walked in. Princess Crescent Moon seemed to finally realize how much she'd benefited these years from swapping bodies with me. Now, she couldn't even spare time to blame me for possibly being involved with her dearest brother. She quickly grabbed my arm. Yun Luo, the fifth, that wretch is trying to steal you from me. What should I do? I calmed her. Don't worry. She won't be the one sent. If not her, then who? Me? No, I still need to stay with my brother. Her voice became unusually shrill. The Mongolians aren't familiar with our people. As long as we find a maid to be your double. At worst, if we're discovered, we'll just say she's the emperor's long-lost daughter, and that's it. The emperor had many affairs in his youth. He often took women by force. So something like this wouldn't be surprising. Only then did Princess Xinyu's emotions settle down. I handed over the pair of red tassels that the crown prince had given her, and passed it over. Princess Xinyue was in high spirits. She even forgot to ask about my absence last night. I helped her with her makeup again, then casually asked, "Oh, Your Highness, about the medicinal herbs I reminded you to brew daily for His Majesty. Have you done it?" Xinyue must have had a sudden realization. If you hadn't mentioned it, I would have almost forgotten. That medicinal herb you mentioned is simply miraculous. Father has been full of energy lately. Hurry and get ready. I want to bring Father the medicinal soup right now. I smiled faintly. That's good. You must pay attention to His Majesty's health. He is your greatest support. As long as His Majesty is here, you'll surely be carefree for life. No turning back now. It's time to reel in the net. Princess Xinyue was overjoyed and even added my words. Yun Luo, you are still important to this princess. Let's switch bodies again. I don't know why, but I only feel safe when I'm in your body. I hesitated a little. Were mine. I wish. Should we switch? Princess Xinyue didn't know. If we switch bodies this time, she will forever be Yun Luo, and never be a princess again. But I agreed anyway. This was part of my plan all along. And being Xinyue now makes it easier to get things done. At the tavern, I changed into Princess Xinyue's most beautiful dress, veiled my face, and danced gracefully. The Mongolian prince gazed at me with infatuation, as if looking at a treasure, until I gently settled onto his lap. My breath like a faint orchid. Prince, I am the most favored princess in all of the Central Plains. As I approached him, I paused for a moment. I don't know why, but those pitch-black eyes kept appearing in my mind, staring fixedly at me as if right before my eyes. But in the end, I still sat down. The Mongolian prince's eyes instantly lit up. Princess Xinyue, I giggled coquettishly. When I opened my eyes, a pair of pitch-black eyes on the tavern's second floor were staring intently at me. Damn it, why do I keep running into him? My body trembled with laughter. But only I knew it was from fear. But I remained completely composed, and showed no sign of unease. I was wearing a veil, speaking with the Mongolian prince in a very low voice. He couldn't possibly hear. What if they heard? Tomorrow is the day the Mongol prince returns. He will surely take a princess with him. That night, I returned to the princess's residence. Princess Xinyu was already sitting at the table, waiting for me to come back. Yunluo, why are you back so late? Quickly, swap bodies back with me. Tomorrow's palace banquet. I will personally humiliate the fifth princess. I stared intently at Princess Xinyue. The next moment, I slapped her across the face. Yunluo, you have some nerve. After being a princess a few times, you can't distinguish between high and low anymore. Princess Xinyu stared at me in shock. Yunluo, what are you saying? From his sleeve, he pulled out a pill he had prepared earlier. He viciously shoved it into my mouth, and took one for himself. But after swallowing the pill, our bodies showed no change. Instantly, he froze in place. He seemed to realize he couldn't switch back to his own body. So Xinyue went crazy and shoved another pill into herself. She tried to give me one too, but I slapped it away. State Preceptor. Where's the State Preceptor? Call the State Preceptor for me. Xinyue collapsed on the floor, screaming wildly. I chuckled. He won't come. But to my surprise, as soon as I finished speaking, from the shadows in the chamber, an old man in white robes emerged. He was called an old man because his hair was completely white. But strangely, his appearance and demeanor, he looked only about 40. Xinyue was ecstatic. Like a dog, he stumbled and crawled over. State Preceptor. Wonderful, wonderful, please, help me see. What trick did this lowly maid use? Why can't I return to my own body? The State Preceptor looked at me. I clearly saw his throat move. He spoke, daughter, I don't have a father like you. I immediately refused. Princess Xinyue clung to the State Preceptor's leg. Hearing that word, daughter, as if struck by lightning, after a moment, he finally snapped back. He stammered, daughter? State Preceptor, you're joking, right? But he let go of the leg he was holding. Clearly, he believed it. The Imperial Preceptor didn't even spare Xinyu a glance. He gravely apologized to me. Princess Xinyu is an innocent person. I stared coldly at this man. This father I hadn't seen since I was 10. If she's innocent, then what about my mother? Those who use power to bully the weak are never innocent, I declared firmly. The next day was the day the Mongol prince was to depart. When the prince announced his wish to marry Princess Xinyue, I was holding the last bowl of medicine, feeding it to the emperor spoon by spoon. Whether it was my medicine taking effect, or the emperor being enraged by the Mongol prince's words, he suddenly coughed up a mouthful of blood. I smiled faintly. I poured the last of the medicine down the emperor's throat. Since the emperor had always doted on Princess Xinyu, this vile woman, and only a few royal family members knew about our body swap. At this moment, seeing Princess Xinyu disregard the emperor's life to feed him medicine, no one stopped her, and so, the emperor was fed medicine for days by his most beloved daughter and poisoned to death. At that moment, he was staring wide-eyed, looking at me in disbelief. I panicked and threw the bowl aside. I imitated Xinyue's manner and threw a tantrum. Fetch the imperial physician. The physician. After taking the pulse, the physician announced gravely, the emperor has passed away. Instantly, everyone knelt in silent mourning. The crown prince called out solemnly, summon the imperial preceptor. The imperial preceptor will have a way. I sneered. This royal family, one after another, they all trust the imperial preceptor. Little do they know that the one who brought the real culprit into the palace was also the imperial preceptor. The imperial preceptor stood before the emperor's bed, and shook his head. The fifth princess collapsed on the floor, devastated. How could this happen? Due to the emperor's sudden death, the Mongol prince's return to the borderlands was postponed until after the funeral arrangements. I knelt before my mother's grave. Mother, that damned emperor is finally dead. I've avenged you. The imperial preceptor stood beside me. He knelt and called out to me, Luoer. I laughed mockingly. I killed your most loyal master with my own hands. Go on, kill me. The imperial preceptor shook his head. He wanted to say something to me, but I cut him off. Save your words. Coward, don't weep before my mother's grave. You'll dirty her path to reincarnation. I wiped the tears from my eyes. Now the emperor is dead, and the crown prince has ascended. My mind couldn't even process whether I was truly Xin Yue. I followed the Mongol prince back to the borderlands. Because I was skilled in alchemy, the Mongol prince initially still wanted to get intimate with me. But after seeing my methods, he remained respectful and distant. Although the Mongols had formed an alliance, they betrayed their agreement. Taking advantage of the new emperor's unstable rule, they attacked the central plains. The new emperor was ruthless. He repelled the Mongols with thunderous force. The Mongols' morale shattered. But the new emperor's intentions were unpredictable. He actually pursued them in victory, and reclaimed Mongolia in one sweep. When the new emperor reached Mongolia, I almost knew his purpose. He pinned me down on the bed, glaring at me fiercely. Xin Yue. I smirked playfully. She's dead. Actually, she's probably feeding pigs in some pigsty. He glared at me fiercely. He was about to kiss me. I murmured softly. Are you going to attack your own sister? He froze instantly. I met the intense anger in his eyes. He bit my lip viciously, until the taste of blood spread in our mouths. But he ultimately didn't touch me. Why? Why treat me like this? Why deceive me time after time? Why? 10 years ago, my mother saved an injured man and brought him home. In the middle of the night, I woke up startled. That man pinned my mother down, tearing her clothes. My mother struggled fiercely. I was driven out of the room by guards. I cried, begging them to spare my mother. They said the man inside was the most revered person in the world. He could take whoever he wanted. That night, my mother dragged her exhausted body, and, crying, scratched off the red spider lily originally painted on my back with a hairpin. Luer, don't seek revenge. Leave quickly. Your father has returned and will find you. I cried, I don't want to leave. My mother pushed me out forcefully. Later, I learned that the most revered person in the world was the emperor. That day, he took the crown prince out hunting, but accidentally got injured and separated, and was saved by my mother. Then he forcibly took her. He dragged my mother into the palace. My mother lived in the palace for less than half a year and died in sorrow. I despise the royal family for their bullying, being killed by the princess I loved most. The emperor must have had mixed feelings before he died. As for the crown prince, he was just a stepping stone on my path of revenge. He's that man's offspring. I hate him too. That day I accidentally heard that the crown prince's beloved had a spider lily on her left shoulder. So I boldly seduced him, used him. He was such a wise prince. But I made him focus all his thoughts on me. Even when his own father died, he arrived late. I didn't expect the crown prince would actually fall for it, but I didn't want to be part of the drama. I ended up switching into the princess's body, with an ordinary appearance and a clean body. This is my final destination. Later, one day from the Prince of Mongolia, I learned a coincidental truth. My father had been lurking for 10 years to weaken the Central Plains' power. Originally, after the emperor's death, he planned to incite Mongolia to invade the Central Plains. But I killed the old emperor ahead of time. The new emperor hadn't yet turned things around. By coincidence, the Central Plains' power flourished. I lay expressionless on the rocking chair. A maid suddenly came to report to me. A scholar seeks to meet Princess Crescent Moon. When the scholar traveled far to see me, he was stunned at first. Then disbelief. It's not you, not Princess Crescent Moon. Such a cold woman couldn't possibly be Princess Crescent Moon. Of course I'm not. The me who did anything for revenge is long dead. Another year on my mother's memorial day, when I went to her grave to pay respects, I unexpectedly saw a figure. The new emperor knelt on the ground and bowed 3 times respectfully. This is what my royal family owes you. He still doesn't know that my beloved has always been him. That year during the hunt I was lost in the mountains. He saved me. If he knew, he'd curse me, saying I'm as vile as my father. I will definitely find the royal advisor and switch him back with Crescent Moon's body. I remained expressionless and hid in the shadows, waiting until he left before coming out to let him do his thing. I smirked. The old emperor in heaven watches his most favored prince cherish his most favored princess. This is my final punishment for him.